Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. So the beginner's guide to tips and tricks to arms race actually did a lot better than I was expecting, so thank you all for that support. So I decided to do a more advanced guide. This is going to be focused on weapons, gear, and things to look out for that are going to be carrying you throughout the entirety of arms race. So you're probably wondering why I'm on this character and not an arms race. However, it's going to make sense very, very soon. So this character has a Tdr shotgun, and it has the coils sticking out here. The thing to keep in mind is that these little coils that are sticking out on both sides, these little things here, that's the most important part about a Tdr anything. Tdr SMG, Tdr shotgun specifically, because that's going to be your part that will tell you that it is a homing Tdr shotgun or homing Tdr SMG. A lot of people are wondering what the homing is, the MERV, what makes it like unique to that. You can actually see these very clearly whenever you look at a item or weapon on the ground, to be able to tell if it's homing or not. If it doesn't have this part, then it's probably going to be a bouncy or an impact or something like that. But this part right here is the one that changes the most. So I'm going to meet you guys in arms race, and we're going to go over the things that are going to be the best things to carry you throughout arms race. I'll meet you guys in arms race. Alright, and welcome on back, guys. We are in arms race. So I'm going to be doing an arms race run with you guys one more time, just like the last guide video, and we're going to be discussing and talking about all the items that I personally look out for and things that will carry me throughout the entirety of it. So if we discuss with pistols, there are a lot of pistols that do stand out from the rest. Usually in the opening chest, I look for ones that are COV or Atlas pistols. Now, COV and Atlas, I only look at the version of Atlas pistols that shoot out bullets. If it's an exploding Atlas pistol, I leave it alone because it doesn't really do a lot for me. The reason why is because the bullets hit super hard, and they're just generally really good. I got a bad starting out loadout here. Torg is something that I would avoid if it's not green, blue, purple. If it is a white quality, even green, you can actually just leave alone. But my only other choice is the Mallow 1 SMG, so I don't have a lot of options here. But yeah, dull pistols are great. My recommendation is if you get anything dull, always switch it to the semi-auto, because the semi-auto absolutely hits hard. It's amazing. It's really good. And this goes for like pistols, ARs, things like that. Anything dull, always switch to single fire, because you get to fire it as fast as you can pull the trigger, just like a Jacobs. However, it has the fast reload of a dull, so it's actually really good to have it in single fire mode. Another one to look out for, Tdr Pistols. Tdr is just generally very good in here. Even if it's not homing, it is a very good manufacturer to look out for and have in this mode. So Tdr for sure. Atlas not exploding bullets, and COV along with Dull are probably your best pistols. There's a lot of good pistols in this. Those are the manufacturers I would look out for. So for SMGs, if you're looking out for SMGs, I would say your first thing that you're looking out for is Tdr, of course. There's Tdr homing for SMGs for sure, and those things hit hard. If it comes with an element, you're going to be having an advantage in arms race. So if you're getting a radiation, for example, radiation Tdr homing SMG, you pretty much just win arms race. You definitely just win arms race. Yeah, you can see that the Torg pistol isn't really doing a lot for me. It kind of hits hard, but it's very slow. The reload is also very slow. DPS wise, this is not looking very good. So I would actually suggest leaving Torg alone. But to move on to our next pieces of gear, assault rifles. My #1 recommendation for assault rifles will always be COV with an element. COV with an element. Assault rifles, they hit super hard, especially if it's like shock or fire. You're going to be tearing off shields, or you're going to be tearing off HP bars very quickly. A very close second would be like something that I mentioned earlier, a single fire AR Dull. Very good. Those things hit super hard. The reason why single fire is very good is because once again you get the fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, Jacobs, but you also get a really fast reload that is going to be faster than a Jacobs. So Jacobs is actually something that I would not suggest in arms race, because if it's not a purple, it has very slow reload. It usually has only like maybe one shot or two, and it's definitely not going to hit as hard as a Hellwalker. So I wouldn't really recommend looking out for Jacobs in arms race. If you're forced with it, an AR could actually go pretty decent for you, but all in all, I wouldn't look out for it. I wouldn't be too happy to see Jacobs in this mode. It's not going to do a lot for you. Speaking of shotguns, my recommendation, and I know I just said don't look out for Jacobs, but for shotguns, I would say Jacobs purple shotguns are very, very good. Say it's another Torg, I don't really want that as an AR, so I'm going to leave that alone. Jacobs Torg is very, very good because this usually has 1 or 2 shots at the very least in them. It has faster reload and they hit really, really hard. If you can hit a crit or get a kill with a crit with them, you also have that reflect that's going for you. The bullets that ricochet around and hit other enemies. It's very, very good. My other recommendation would be, however slow. Oh my god, I got a shred of fire. What is with my luck with recording? Reflect and booster mad tab. What is with my luck in recording? I should do this more often. My suggestion for Tdr is purple Tdr shotguns, because these usually have faster fire rates, and they're also not slow when reloading, because that's a big problem that Tdr shotguns have, is that they're very, very slow. Here's actually an example right here. I'll show off a quick example of how slow this Everblast is going to be. So when you shoot it, slow shot. This one actually has a fast reload. This one actually has a very fast reload time of only 2 seconds. That's actually not too bad. It doesn't have the coils. As you can see, it has like those little, I don't know, they kind of look like a hard drive, kind of an SSD kind of on the sides. So that's not going to be homing. As you can see, when you throw it, it kind of does that like far long blast kind of chuck, you know, like longbow grenades. That's that kind of part. So I'm actually going to keep this one because it has a fast reload and it actually works pretty well. I'm already confident with this loadout to take on the boss, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna go for the best car, because the best car is actually pretty good. Now, if we're talking gear here, shields, grenades, sometimes you can find class mods actually. Even though you don't have skill points, I've heard that you can get class mods in here, which is funny. Shields with the highest capacities generally always win. It's going to be very, very rare that you're going to find a shield that really works with the rest of your gear, especially in the entirety of arms race. So usually highest capacity wins. However, if you want to get really lucky, oh, these turned into guns with legs. Nice. I didn't even see that portion of the part. Nice. And it hits hard. So if you can find a shield that has either capacity or any sort of like gain HP effect on it, those ones are the highest ones to look out for. The more survivability and the more that you are standing up, the better that you're going to do, and the least amount of times that you go into fight for your life, the better, because every single time you go into fight for your life, your meter trickles down a little bit more. You don't want that. So if you have something with, you know, extra capacity, or this Mad Tap has booster, even though I can't use it, those are usually the ones to look out for the most. Anoint wise doesn't really matter because you're never going to really use the anoint as often. Now, if you're looking for grenades, there's a few grenades that you can actually look out for that are really, really good. Element wise, I would say cryo, radiation, or shock are your top 3, and here's why. Shock tears off shields very, very easily, and you can just go right for the HP on any enemy, including boss. And oh, there's actually 2 airships over here. I'm gonna go for the airships. The The reason why is because the shot can tear off shields very, very easily. The boss has a shield to start, so it's going to be a really good start for you off of Harker, and you can just go right for the HP right away. It's perfect. Now, the other one I would recommend is Radiation, because Radiation is the most neutral anoint in not only Arms Race, but the entire game. Radiation is very, very good against pretty much everything. It's quite neutral. You can't really go wrong with it, and there's not a lot of things that are immune to it, which is also really good. The only thing that's going to be immune to Radiation in Arms Race are Puke Skaggs. And the Puke Skaggs you only really see around Skaggs Den anyways. So if you're going around everywhere in the map and you're not going to Skaggs Den, Radiation is going to be a very good choice for you. The boss is going to also not like Radiation, because the last time I used Radiation against the boss, his shield got torn off, his armor got torn off, and I got right to his HP bar very, very quickly. And finally, I would also recommend Cryo Grenades. I actually have a Cryo Grenade here, which is perfect. Right here. This Cryo Grenade is going to be great because, well, this one has a rained effect, so it's going to spawn 3 for me. But it's going to be great because Cryo can freeze, as you guys know, but it can also freeze the final boss. Yeah, Cryo can freeze the final boss, and it makes it so that you can actually have quite a few seconds of extra DPS without the boss, like range attacking you, jumping at you in your face so that you blow yourself up, that kind of thing. You can freeze the boss in place and you can get a couple seconds of good DPS in. The dog can freeze, Parker can freeze, everything in that boss arena can freeze. So throwing grenades or having any sort of cryo related effect is very, very good. If you can't find any of these elements, don't worry, don't fret, that's okay. It's really, really hard to get a solid grenade that really lines up with your build. So the next best thing after all of this would be on grenade thrown. So if you find an anointed grenade that says on grenade thrown you get 25% weapon damage, absolutely go for that, because it's going to be buffing you every single time you toss a grenade every 6 seconds. It's going to be amazing. It's going to hit hard. Oh, we got a Beskar. So the next thing that I would really recommend is kind of something that lines up with the video from the other day. Always make sure that you're confident enough to get into the enough to take out the boss. You know that he starts with a shield, and then he has an armor bar, and then he has an HP bar, and he also spawns with 2 enemies every single time for mobs. Now I'm right now very confident to take out the boss. Like, this Shredifire is just going to completely and utterly carry me, even though it doesn't have any element. It's a ×2, which is ridiculous. And you can also bipod mode it, so it kind of feels like a miniature Monarch, which is great. I have a Tdr SMG, and I also have a Tdr shotgun that do a lot of damage, so I could probably take out the boss anytime. This is something that I would be very confident in. But if you don't have something like this, which this is a rare lineup, Skaggs Den to end all of your runs are really, really good. Skaggs Den is usually the last area that will be covered by the murder cane due to how close it is to the boss. Little airdrops here and there, vendors are always guarded, so you could pick up something here just very last minute, right in the mid game of the murder cane. So this is probably a really good area to start picking off those things. Skaggs Den actually spawned outside of the map this time, so I actually don't have the option for Skaggs Den. However, on the way back from the Beskar shield, I had 3 vendors and 2 airdrops. So I ended up getting really, really lucky this time. Sometimes you don't get that lucky. Finally, I didn't talk about the artifacts. Now, artifacts, depending on which quality that you have, will spawn with passives. If you have a white artifact, you don't really get any passives. Blues give you 2, things like that. The higher quality, the more passives that you have, and the higher percentages that you'll get with them. Now, usually you want to get something that'll line up with whatever you're using. So if you're using cryo damage, and you can find something with cryo. If you're using a pistol the entire time to carry you, you can find stuff with pistol damage. Things like that. I remember one time I ended up finding a Nemesis Pistol, and the Nemesis was absolutely shredding and killing everything in one hit. But then I found an artifact and it had 24% pistol damage on it, on top of a thing that was already one-shotting everything. So if you can find something that'll line up with the things that you're using, or even if you just find something and then you find a gun later that lines up for it, always go for that, because the more buffs and things that you have with you, the more of an advantage that you're going to have against your final boss. I just got a Stormfront. Why does it always happen like this? I gotta record these more often for YouTube, I swear to God, because I never get legendaries while streaming. I never get legendaries while playing for fun, never. And then the recording happens and here's a shred of fire with the ×2 and a Stormfront. So the guide is pretty much over. There's not really a lot of other things I need to talk about in here. I think I ran over pretty well everything. Just for a little bit of a recap though, COV pistols with the bullets and not the exploding guns are very good. Anything dull, make sure you have it as a single fire, because that's going to be a harder hitting thing, and it fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, just like a Jacobs, without the penalty of a slow reload. If you have anything elemental grenade wise, that's great. If not, grenade thrown for your weapon damage is also very good. Tdrs, if you can see it with the little coils that are sticking out, they're very obvious once you know what the part looks like. Those coils are going to tell you if it's homing or not, so make sure to check the start of the video if you don't know what the coils look like. Those are going to be very effective against pretty much every enemy. Element matching, things like radiation is very neutral. Cryo can freeze everything, including the final boss. I think I ran over everything, so let's just sit back and have a good hardcore run. Hopefully, let's see if we can kill the absolutely kill it here. One thing that I did forget to mention, actually, while we're here, everything you pick up on the way, if it's a shitty thing that you're never going to use again, sell it off. And the reason why is because these two vendors can actually spawn legendaries, and every vendor can spawn legendaries. But usually, this is your last-ditch effort to take out the boss. If you're not confident with what you have, this is your last-ditch effort to take out the boss. Here's a 61,000 exploder with on-grenade thrown. If I didn't have that Stormfront, this thing would shred. Just for an example. Shields are in here. If you don't find anything with capacity, like this thing spawned with, or things with HP, nothing spawned with HP in here. Usually highest capacity wins. The more that you're sitting up and doing damage, that's the best. This one actually came with booster, so when damage you have a chance to drop a booster that restores some shields. That's very good. You want that. So let's just see how bad this Stormfront shreds. Stormfront actually doesn't do a lot of damage to his shields. Interesting. I thought it was going to do a lot more. Oh, there it is. Never mind. You just have to move into the right area. Yeah, Stormfront is just tearing at his shield. Shred of Fire is just taking out the rest. Alright, Harker. Let's have some fun. Let's see if we can get anything good here off of you. Let's trap him in the center around all these Stormfront grenades. Oh, I went down there. Shred of Fire is basically 3-hitting all the mobs around him. This is a fairly easy run. Wasn't my fastest run, but it was a fairly easy run. Let's see if we got anything good off of Harker. And it looks like it's just a res. That's unfortunate. So I didn't really get anything good off of this run. However, guys, I think that's going to do it for my advanced guide. These are the guns and things that you want to look out for the most. If you run into them, you're pretty much set for a guaranteed victory. So make sure to pick these up and line up your character as quickly as possible and most efficiently to line up with the beginner's guide as well. My name is Bflattened, guys, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care, all. Laters.